The case itself, there were just various iterations, various pieces of the puzzle. Good afternoon. So what I'll do is provide just a bit of a summary of the MPD's work towards this particular case and the apprehension of these two wanted individuals. So on Wednesday, November 17, 2021, at approximately 12:24 p.m., Memphis police officers responded to a shooting at 2370 Airways Boulevard, Makiba's Homemade Cookies. Upon arrival, officers located 36-year-old Adolph Thornton Jr., known as Young Dolph, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Thornton was pronounced deceased on the scene by Memphis Fire Department personnel. After an exhaustive investigation by MPD staff, investigators, and supervisors, many who are in this room right now, 23-year-old Justin Johnson and 32-year-old Cornelius Smith were apprehended. Justin Johnson, who is a wanted person of interest in the murder of young Dolph, Adolph Thornton, is now in custody, thanks to the Marshal Service and their dogged, relentless, and unwavering commitment to getting this individual off the street. Cornelius Smith is now in custody as well, pending the following charges: first-degree murder, criminal attempt to first-degree murder, convicted felon in possession of a handgun, employing a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, and theft of property in the amount of $10,000 to $60,000. These arrests would not have been possible without the dedicated men and women of the Memphis Police Department and our partners, specifically our homicide unit. Last year, these investigators handled more than 300 homicide cases. They work day in and day out trying to identify individuals with the same type of aggression and unwavering, intrepid spirit that was involved in this particular case. And without the assistance of our partners, and this is a short list of individuals or groups that we need to identify. Of course, the United States Marshals, Marshal Tyrese Miller and his team, the Two Rivers Violent Fugitive Task Force, the Multi-Agency Gang Unit, MGU, Shelby County Sheriff's Department, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the Covington Police Department, the South Haven Police Department, the DeSoto County Sheriff's Department, the Indiana State Police, and the Putnam County Sheriff's Department. The Memphis Police Department would also like to thank all the men and women who were involved in this investigation for their dedication and hard work. We also would like to thank the hundreds of citizens, not just from our area, but from around the country, who provided tips throughout this investigation to ensure these individuals were brought to justice. Thank you to our citizens and to the public for trusting the Memphis Police Department and utilizing our Crime Stoppers Anonymous tip line. This is an ongoing investigation. Thank you very much. And at this particular time, I'd like to ask our District Attorney General, Amy Wyrick, for remarks.
Good afternoon. As you have heard, the list of people and the energy involved and the work dedicated to apprehending these two individuals has been limitless. This case will be handled in the District Attorney's office by three of our ADAs, Paul Hagerman, Austin Schofield, and Joey Griffith, who are assigned to our Crime Strategies and Narcotics Prosecution Unit. Because of the criminal histories involved in the individuals charged, the case will be assigned to our Special Prosecution Unit Division 7, which handles, as you all know, repeat violent felony offenders. You've heard us thank, and it has to be said again, the hard work of the men and women standing behind me and the agencies that they represent, and the sleepless nights and the countless hours that they have dedicated to this case that we're here talking about, but all of the others that they are working on and doing the same in terms of bringing someone to justice so that victims of these crimes can have closure and so that we as a community can have that closure as well. I wanted to take just a minute and clarify a few things regarding the criminal history of Justin Johnson. So you've heard that Cornelius Smith was indicted by the Shelby County Grand Jury yesterday. You've heard the charges that he was indicted on. As for Justin Johnson, in July of 2015, at the age of 17, he was charged with aggravated rape and aggravated robbery. At the gunpoint, the victim in that case was a woman at an Econo Lodge. He was found delinquent. He was placed in the custody of the Department of Children's Services until his 19th birthday. Our office filed a transfer request in that case that was denied, and he was placed on the Violent Juvenile Sex Offender Registry. In January of 2017, January 31st to be specific, he shot 3 people at the Billy Hardwick Bowling Alley, and many of you all have covered that case. In February of 2017, he was arrested on that case after MPD solved it. In May of 2017, he pled guilty to 5 years concurrent for the shooting in the Billy Hardwick case. In November of 2017, he asked a criminal court judge to be released from that sentence, and the judge granted that request. That was 9 months of time on a 5-year sentence. In May of 2018, he was arrested with a handgun and illegal drugs. The next day, he posted a $7,500 bond. A week later, he was arrested for violating the conditions of his probation with the new gun and the new drug case. 3 days later, he posted a $15,000 bond on that violation of probation. He was indicted by the federal government in July of 2018 as part of a weekly and quite literally daily communication between our office and the U.S. Attorney's Office on all gun cases. You guys have covered stories over the years of Project Safe Neighborhoods. And this indictment in this case was the work of that joint effort of federal, state, and local law enforcement coming together literally every week to review every gun arrest. And this case was indicted by the feds, as I mentioned, in July of 2018. His state bond was revoked in February of 2019. That same month, the state judge ordered that his sentence in the state court be run consecutive to any sentence that he may receive in the federal system. And in May of 2021, he had done his time in the federal system and was released from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. As for Cornelius Smith, he has a prior from 2011, a criminal attempt aggravated robbery and an aggravated assault for which he received a 3-year sentence. So I hope that helps clarify. Our office has fielded a lot of questions, and perhaps others of you in the room have as well, about why Justin Johnson was out of custody. I hope this tells you why. And the short answer is because of the laws of the state of Tennessee, and because of the criminal justice system that we operate in every day. Again, he did 9 months on a 5-year sentence. He was entitled to ask the judge to be released, and that request was granted. And he was on probation for those state charges, and that's when he picked up the federal cases as well. So with that, I think we will open it up to questions. I'll turn it back over to Marshall Miller, but again, just want to say thank you to everybody in this room that has worked so hard on this, everybody that is not here, and I think it shows that this is a joint effort, federal, state, and local, for the pursuit of justice for anyone who wants to commit violent crime and wreak havoc on the streets of Shelby County.
Marshall Miller, is there any evidence you can elaborate or disclose to the public that ties Mr. Johnson to the LLDolph killing?
We handled the fugitive investigation only.
Okay.
The investigative agency into the shooting of young Dolph was handled by the Memphis Police Department, so any questions about their investigation will have to be addressed with them.
Chief Davis, I got a question for you.
Chief, can you answer that question? Chief, can you answer that question?
I can try. Well, at this particular time, we can't get into the details just yet because we're still pending indictments. And the specifics, we had enough probable cause to actually put out this wanted flyer for Justin Johnson, and we have enough information to ensure that he will see his day in court. But right now, we can't provide the specifics about it because it's still pending that indictment.
Do you have a theory on motive?
Not just yet. There has been just a wealth of tips and information and leads and putting this case together. And our officers and investigators have been working since this particular case began. Lots of rumors and innuendo, but we're really trying to sift through to the truth and what the real motives are. We're just not ready to put that out there right now.
To your knowledge, are these two suspects the two people caught in the video outside of McCabe's?
We can't say 100%, but we have enough information to have pushed this particular case to the point that it is now and pursue this in a court of law. There was enough evidence, enough material evidence, enough support and witnesses to be able to get this case to this point without me jeopardizing an indictment and information that will come out in the grand jury. That's about all I can say. And because of the fact that I'm not the investigator, and I don't want to put them in a position where they're revealing too much as well.
Understanding, are there going to be any more arrests? Understanding that these two people are here right now.
It is very possible. It is very possible. Once we, continue to conduct this investigation, there's no telling where it could potentially lead. There could be other individuals that are implicated in this particular homicide.
Are you all in conjunction with Covington Police to help them in their investigation as well? Because I know the white Mercedes-Benz
Yes.
is involved in.
We are all working together. That's why I outlined all of those different agencies, because at some point in time in this investigation, our investigators have had touch points with various other individuals, other law enforcement personnel around the country. So absolutely.
When did
Thank you.
these suspects get on y'all's radar? It seems like it was fast moving starting about December. Was there a break? Is that when they got on your radar?
It's been fast moving from the very beginning. It's just that when we have investigations that are as high profile as this, the police department is very careful about how much information we provide, to the general public so that we don't compromise the investigation. But from day one, there were leads, and these investigators have been on the trail of individuals that we assume were involved in this. And of course, that information was more robust in the last months.
Were Smith and Johnson mentioned on day one?
Not that I know of. I don't think I can answer that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Do we know why they were in Indiana, specifically there?
I don't know that just yet. Do we know why? They've been all over the place. And I would assume that they were fleeing justice,
Well, as I stated earlier, there were several cities that have been searched, from Atlanta to Indianapolis, Houston, Dallas. So Justin Johnson has been very active since he's been on the run, and even more so after the reward announcement. So he never really stayed in one place very long.
Marshal Miller, Chief, I know this is a really high-profile case, a lot of interest in the community. Have you spoken with the family of Mr. and any kind of reaction from family or loved ones after this break in this case?
I can say that our staff has been very sensitive to the family to ensure that the family is aware of various iterations in this particular case. As far as reactions, I'd be uncomfortable to say what their reactions are. I would think that they're probably relieved at this point, though.
And I know every homicide investigation is important, but knowing
Yes.
how high profile this one, what does this mean for you all? I know this has so much community interest in general. What does
Yes.
this mean for the hard work of law?
Well, it really speaks to the work that these guys and gals do every day, and they really do. When we have the participation of other agencies and partnerships that we've been talking about, and we also have that very critical input from the community, and as it was said, we vetted hundreds and hundreds of leads. When we get that information, we can bring cases to closure much faster. There was an awful lot of information coming into the Memphis Police Department, and we appreciate the public's trust in us to keep their information confidential so that we can bring those individuals to justice. So not just with this case, we're hoping that we continue to see that level of engagement in providing information when we have these types of cases, especially cases of violent crime.
Reading the affidavit, understanding you all had a good bit of evidence on Cornelius Smith, the fingerprints on the car and whatnot. Did you all, I guess, keep Smith in custody or have any idea of his connection to Justin Johnson and able to get a name like Justin Johnson?
Well, I think the case itself, there were just various iterations, various pieces of the puzzle that, came in at different times that strengthened the case even more. So it wasn't an all at once, this is our guy. It was the combination of layers of information that helped to solidify that case, that person was involved. Yes.
There was, in this case in particular, there was an enormous amount of internet sleuthing and internet detectives who were constantly shooting around false accusations. To your knowledge, did anyone else get hurt because of the sometimes inaccurate information that was being thrown from one corner of TikTok to the other?
At this point, I don't think so. We don't have any information, and my staff is here, but I think I would have been made aware of any case that we thought was connected to this particular tragedy. So at this point, we don't think that there was any other individuals that were affected, negatively like that.
In the carjacking of that white Mercedes-Benz, I did notice that there was one other suspect in that police report. I believe Terrion Owens.
Any person that might be associated with a specific crime is a person of interest. I'm not sure at what point or what level Mr. Owens is involved in this. We're still investigating, and as we mentioned before, this may have a rippling effect. There may be more involvement and more charges in the days to come as it relates to this.
We're going to take one more question.
Marshall, I have a question. Was Justin Johnson alone in the car, or was he with someone else, and did he resist arrest?
No, he was the driver. His passenger was Shondel Barett,
Okay.
and he's going to be facing charges of accessory after the fact. And my office will get you a photo out today of Shondel Barett. But he was taken into custody without incident. So
Were they in another stolen car, or do you know?
the car was not stolen.
It was not stolen?
It was not stolen.
Okay.
Yes.
Did it belong to them, or where did they get this car?
Well, I can't. That could be part of Memphis's ongoing investigation about the car, and so I don't want to get too much. Don't want to provide too many details about that.
Do you know how long it will be before Justin Johnson is back here?
Well, he'll be back here promptly. I don't want to give a definitive time because, again, that could be a safety concern for the marshals who have to bring him back here. As I understand, there's a lot of interest in it, and we just want to get him back safely so he can the wheels of justice can turn.
That's all the questions that we're going to take today. So if y'all got any further questions?
Iterations, various pieces of the puzzle